They are 22 episodes into their podcast, and one of the hottest new podcasts out there. They are clever, innovative, and just downright damn funny. You can catch them at the Annoyance Theater here in Chicago on April 14th at 7:30. But for now, you can hear them right here. It's the Statesmen, and I got them here live in the WCRX studios. Men, how are you doing?
Wow.
Wow.
We are so humbled. That was quite the introduction, Ryan.
Very sweet.
Nothing like your introductions now on your episodes.
Oh, stop it.
No, it was actually really short and to the point.
Yeah,
so
concise.
I think you actually did really well. We're so honored to be here. My goodness.
Yeah,
Look at
thanks
this
for having
place.
us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is a rare occasion. We don't have a lot of podcasts down here and stuff, but I've been listening to. Let's see, how long have I known about your podcast now? Maybe a month, a little over, maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think you emailed. I think you either hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, or emailed me. I forget which one. About a month ago.
Yeah.
And what a month it's been. I mean, we're talking about some of the best guests Statesmen have ever had, and some of the best episodes, by the way, I think.
Some of the worst hosting we've done.
Yeah, all right. We're not exactly that good at it, but we have great people on the podcast every week, and over the past period, I think we've all noticed sort of amongst ourselves that we've hit a bit of a fiery streak of fun things, fun to listen to, and the guest has a lot of fun, and we're just so glad that someone else in the world is listening to it. So
Yeah,
thank
we've
you.
got at least one, and that's me. So
That's very true. And we don't really know you, which is probably the thing that I think humbles us the most is and not to take it for granted, but our friends and family are pretty much the people who listen mostly to the podcast. But when somebody like you reaches out and says like, "Oh, I'm really enjoying the podcast," it's like, wow, like we're actually reaching people who we don't know, and that's
Yeah, I think that's part of like kind of the interesting thing is, and I'm a musician, so it's kind of, you can tell when you grow, and by like you start finding people that you don't know, like you as a musician, I go to a gig, I play a gig, I show up, and it's all my friends,
Right.
And then you play one, and it's like I've never seen that person before, but they were at my last show, and I don't even know who that is, and you kind of start to. And are some of you comedians?
Yeah, actually, all three of us, we can just go down the line. I feel like we should say some names.
Yeah, let's say some
we're
names.
all really funny guys, but who's behind the clown mask?
nice. So this is I'm Tim Ferrari. I'm the elder statesman, or like the guy who brings the show like through to the end. And how about you?
I am Stuart Highcar. I am one of the junior statesmen, and I kind of consider myself the sexy young one of the crew.
And I am Anthony Rossi, another junior statesman, Second City's very own.
Yeah,
And I consider
true.
myself
You can say that.
the sexy old one.
No way. How old are you guys?
I'm 24.
Tim?
I'm 24, turning 25 in April.
And I am, of course, a young, fresh-faced 22, turning 23 just the day before Tim, correct?
Yeah, you're April 17th, I'm April 18th.
Isn't that exciting? And, I mean, we're not inviting any of the listeners out to our birthday party, but if you happen to be at Waveland Bowling the night of April 17th at midnight, I'll be there in the bathrooms.
Cool. I
Yeah.
found out my plans. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I'm invited too.
No, I'm not going to that.
No, I noticed in the episode, the first thing I noticed was you are the elder statesman, and then you have the junior statesman. Now, I have a couple questions, because as I look at you, and if you're watching this on video, kind of reminds me here of like John, Paul, and George. Kind of like a Beatles setup right here.
Wow. Dang.
I'm curious.
George?
Well, no.
Just in terms of age, I think, are you referencing them in terms of their ages,
Well,
the
I wasn't even
grades they
saying
met?
necessarily in an order, but of just like, you guys look like, because we're sharing a mic, we got,
That's
So,
true.
at least by the end of this podcast, I want somebody breaking out into She Loves You. Or
That's totally fine. I'm actually going to do a Why Don't We Do It in the Road about halfway through here. And Tim, if you could give me the beat drunk on the desk, that would be awesome.
And I famously know none of the words to Rocky Raccoon, but I'll try.
But yeah, Tim About the elder statesman thing, this is something that's been stuck in a lot of our craws for a real long time, and
Okay, let's hear it. Let's air some dust out. Air out the closet. Let's hear it.
obviously we don't want to start something here on a campus, Where better? I mean, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe this is the time to experiment and go crazy. And Tim, why don't you explain your reasoning behind calling yourself the elder statesman and making sure that everyone knows that Anthony and I are junior members of the team?
Okay, so my reasoning is, and I remember agreeing with both of you at the very start of the entire show. We went to Sushi Rotary off of Sheridan and Belmont, and it's kind of around that area. And
Yeah. I will confidently agree.
Yeah, kind of a weird plug, but keep going.
A podcast about America started over Japanese
sushi.
food.
yeah.
And what's more American than stealing cuisine from other countries, right?
Yep. Okay. And then, so after we left, like we knew that we had the idea, and I think it just kind of like came out. I wanted to do like a lot of the clerical stuff. I think I knew that off the bat, and so I made it a point. I wanted to be the elder statesman.
I mean, yeah, go ahead. Tony.
It's been stuff that's so far outside of my skill set, and I appreciate Tim immensely because he is truly the captain of our ship. We would crash every episode if it weren't for the hard work he put in behind the scenes, and he's done so much work. Emailing and seeking, guests and making sure everyone's prepared. But the amount of work he's put into the live show and coordinating some of the promotional materials. And he's actually the one who got us to go and make that jump to go purchase the equipment and set it up and get going. Because we'd been kicking around the idea of a podcast for so long. And we never really took any steps towards it until he kicked us in the butt.
I mean, to be quite honest, if we had jumped into the podcast game when we first started talking about it, we would all be rich beyond our wildest dreams right now.
Certainly.
We would be kings of podcasting, but unfortunately now we are but serfs, peddling our meager dirt farms to those who wish to see them.
I agree.
Well, thanks. But yeah, that elder thing, I think it's a matter that people might find derisive, but it's actually just because, like, Tim takes care of so much of that logistical work that he deserves to be called that above Anthony and I. We really just come in and, like, make bad jokes.
Right. Like he keeps us going on the track. Like, he keeps the focus. He lets us know when we're going too long and we need to move on to another segment, and we
Often.
just flat ignore him and just keep riffing.
I've noticed.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you. At least someone notices. But I think and I'm going to take the subject off myself because I hate this.
Well, no, I think that is.
That's classic George, actually. You know, he's always pushing the camera to John and Paul, but he's the heart of the band, Tim.
I'm definitely the Ringo because no one wants me on camera.
I think I made the joke before, but I'm Stuart Sutcliffe, the original drummer of the Beatles. Didn't make it big, but here I am still on tour, huh?
I think without these guys, though, the podcast just wouldn't be funny whatsoever, and it would be me talking about, like, the mileage and the longitude of the state, and like being really interested in like all the dumb stuff that a state is like about.
Well, I think that is what makes your podcast so, is that you guys are, just so great, is you guys are just a knit group of friends who respects each other. And I was wondering if there was any kind of underlying...
Are you looking for drama, Ryan?
I was looking for drama. I wanted some band drama, but there's not.
You know what? No, I mean, there is drama. Yeah. I think that's something that no one ever I'm so sorry. Excuse my language.
No one come out.
That's true. I only said pho, and maybe I'm talking about Vietnamese soup. So when we're eating a bowl of pho and talking about our podcast, there is drama and there are arguments. And like Tim and I just had a quick conversation about like how we treat each other on and off the podcast, and they're like necessary to have, because when you're on the outside looking in, it's just like, oh, these people have a perfect show and they're so good together and it's so easy, but like guaranteed it isn't, and they have to do tons of work, and they from time to time are like, man, we really bombed that episode, but we got to put it out anyway, And like, I think to not talk about those struggles and overcoming them is it's not helpful to anyone, especially people who are interested in getting into the space or doing something of their own creative volition.
Ringo here. I'm just chiming in to say that none of these conversations take place when I'm in the room, so I don't know what he's referring to. Every time that I'm there, it is laughs and chuckles all around, just complete happiness abound. But then I guess the second that I close my door and go to sleep, everybody's just seething.
It happened in a text conversation, Anthony. We apologize. It happened yesterday.
Tim and I
had to get something off my chest.
And
it didn't involve you.
It did involve you, but not, to any level that matters. Just like every song involves Ringo, but like they're not all about Ringo.
I think also not to mention we are not only like co-hosts of this show, we're also like roommates.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. That's got to be. I mean, that's good to a point, and then at some point, it's like you guys get in there, and if you just had an argument about, hey, you gotta wash your effing dish, and then you gotta go and you gotta sit down with somebody. That's gotta be tough.
It's really funny, Ringo here once again, but it's really funny because we really don't have any of those roommate arguments. We're all very much on the same page. We coexist very well together, and we always make sure that we're hitting the tasks that no one wants to hit. We're like we're taking turns, and obviously we run on different schedules, which is the hardest part. But it is pretty much playtime when we come together. So I really appreciate that about them.
It is a real joy. It's shocked me, to be honest. I thought it might be a bad idea when we started the podcast. I was like, maybe we shouldn't combine these two aspects of both living together and then also like performing together, which we've performed together before in the past, and I was like, I hope this works, because if not, it's going to be a horrible bombshell for my personal and professional life. But like, what surprised me is that like every weekend when we get together to record, I'm like so excited to do it again, because it feels like a cathartic release of like, it doesn't matter like what was going on during that week, or if anybody had like a bad week or something like that. It's really just like, we're always having terrible weeks. We're like 20-somethings in Chicago, and it's a terrible time for history. But we get to come together and laugh at each other for like 2 hours, and that's like great. It feels great.
Yeah, and it's also so fun to like...
Sorry, who's talking?
Ringo here. We have... We have these moments throughout the week when we know we're coming up on an episode that's particularly fun, where we're all like kind of individually putting together our segments. We do those separately, and we always surprise each other with the contents of it. And we'll have minutes where we're kind of like hinting to each other, like, get yourself ready, strap in, this one's going to be weird, or this is going to bomb. But my favorite thing to do is to come out super confident and let them know, like, look, I've got something gold. And then I'll come in and just lay down the worst bomb.
Yeah, it's something that I think we've all been guilty of doing, is like, we record normally on Sundays, and on Saturdays, it's pretty common to hear someone in the house go like, oh, I figured it out. Like, I think, don't worry, the episode's going to be good. I have my thing planned out. And then you get on there and you say the name of the game, and Anthony looks at you as if you had just pushed over a table at a wedding reception or something. Like, there's such disdain and hatred for what you've done, and you just like have to live with that. So maybe that's the drama. Maybe the drama is that we all just give out so much derision during the podcast that like there's just nothing left but love once we're off the mic.
Oh, that's so
that's
so
really
well said. Yeah.
I think lastly, we've covered like the podcast drama, the roommate drama, but then also like we're also people, and we have like self-emotion issues, and like I'm sure I can speak for all of us, we're like a little bit depressive in some...
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm sure I can reveal Anthony's medical history on the radio. I won't speak for anyone else, but this winter has been terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And in terms of seasonal affective disorder, I mean, I think everybody gets it, and it's never been worse in Chicago. What is going on?
Yeah.
Tim, I didn't mean to cut you off. Please continue. But speak only for yourself.
I'm just talking about the weather. You should go.
Okay, so speaking only for myself, like, like the depressive stuff is something that can like go into the show, but it also like the show helps it like alleviate it so much too. It kind of feeds into each other. I think.
Yeah, performance and mental health are so often like tied together, especially in like the comedy space, and that's sort of become a hacky thing for stand-ups to do, is like talk about like, oh, I'm so neurotic or whatever, but Like it generally is a great release of emotion and helps you figure stuff out when you can just talk it out and sort of know that you can have an open dialogue with other people who have different perspectives. And once you say your problems out loud, someone's like, that doesn't even exist. Yeah. And it just helps you get out of your head. Essentially, we're giving each other therapy every week.
In a way, yeah. I think so.
Yes. And one of my favorite things about the show, too, has been getting outside of my typical group of friends, like meeting so many new fascinating people and just getting to know people on such a different level. Because, like, one of the main features of the show is, like, everyone is from somewhere and they all were affected by the ways that they came up or their environment in some way. And they'll have, wildly different opinions on it. And to kind of open that up and make them feel comfortable expressing that and kind of dive into it. And it really just helps you form a completely new relationship with that person. And
I'm curious. I was just thinking about that when you said people are from different places. Have we explained the concept of the show?
Not on this show.
Not on this show. I was wondering about that, and then I thought, if you, the listener, haven't heard the Statesmen, and you're still listening to this interview, what are you even doing listening to this interview?
That's such a good point.
You must hate us.
No, I mean...
You're like, who are these idiots? Why are they wasting precious bandwidth in the radio space?
You need to listen. If you haven't listened to The Statesman, you need to listen wherever you find your podcasts at. I listen on iTunes.
Yeah, you can listen on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or sometimes on there. YouTube likes to take our shit, our stuff off.
And that's everyone's fault. Definitely not just my fault in terms of copywritten material use.
Yeah, it's only Stu's fault.
Okay. Well, you flipped it. You flipped what I said there.
Yeah, I did.
Well, we're also available on the Google Podcast Store. So.
Google Podcast Store, Stitcher, Overcast, anywhere you can find your podcast.
Yeah, we're available.
Easily accessible. All 50 states, all countries. Now, I was going to ask you, you guys started talking about guests and meeting people. How do you go about finding your guests? Because I was thinking about this the other day. I thought, you're on state 23 now? You just finished 22?
We just released 22 today.
Wow. Yeah,
we've
recorded a few more than that, but they're coming out, in cycle.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about Hawaii? Is there one state that you're just
Ryan, don't do this to us. Don't make us admit this on air that we're scared.
This is a point of contention. We're not worried about Hawaii. Surprisingly, we have at least an idea of who we want for Hawaii. I think the ones that worry us the most are like Idaho, Wyoming, West Virginia worries me.
Alaska, I have been thinking about for months. It's haunting my dreams, the Great White North. I have no idea who is from Alaska. The population is so small as it is, and then how many of them leave Alaska to come to Chicago, an equally cold place, and try comedy? What are we doing?
Well, see, people from the north are funny.
That's true.
Because they're stuck inside.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Jim Carrey.
It's like Iceland. Iceland is like the happiest. Well, they're like happy, maybe not funny, but they're like the happiest people because
they're stuck inside all the time.
What's happier than a smile?
That's so true, Stuart.
Thank you. Thank you.
So insightful.
Thank you.
But besides, so we pick people who are born in the state that we're doing that week, or someone who is who considers themselves closely related to that state. So whether it be I had my adolescence there, or if we're really reaching I spent 3 months in South Dakota and
okay, let's not call out a particular state, but we always try and find at least some sort of familial connection, or I went there every summer, that kind of thing, just so the person talking on the state becomes some sort of wealth of knowledge that the three of us coming in with our prepared segments do not have.
It's got to be tough. I mean, you got 50 states, but you guys are, even though you're right in the middle, nobody realizes how big the United States is.
Right.
Oh my God.
Until you look at, I went to Germany this summer, and I took a train ride across.
How dare they have such a small country?
Yeah,
it's really sad how doing this podcast has made me so self-aware of the ways that I am just incredibly ignorant of our nation here.
Especially about geography, right?
Well, yeah.
History, too. Oh, my gosh.
History, for sure, but geography especially. I forgot that West Virginia and Virginia are two separate places. And
Yeah.
I really whiff that. There are also like just little
And
things.
that Virginia is more west than West Virginia.
Whoa.
What?
Yes. Did
Oh
you know
my
that?
gosh.
Oh, no.
No, I
Wait a
didn't.
minute. Now I don't.
No. That's definitely possible.
Oh,
that
yes.
sounds like something you
I
could
believe
read on a
that.
Snapple and like believe. So
This might be what it is. It might be West Virginia is like
above.
on that western tail of Virginia, but a little bit north.
You see, I'd believe anything you told me right now, and that's my problem.
No. There is a little chunk.
Oh my God,
a little
I see
chunk.
A little chunk of how come I
Virginia
can't
extends more west than West Virginia does.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just
I've
its
been
little-
called Little Chunk for most of my adult life.
It's its little tail. Yeah.
That's what I guess we're saying, right?
That's
Is
what
that
we're
we are so
We're dumb.
ill-equipped to be handling this subject, and I think that's what you want to hear as a listener. You either want to hear people fail marvelously at what they attempt to do, or succeed marvelously, and hopefully with bringing in an expert guest and us coming in with no knowledge, we're satiating both those palates at once.
Yeah, it's really surprising too, because we'll bring in a guest that's just one of our buddies that we happen to know is from out of Illinois, as we all are actually, and we'll just bring in one of our friends, and they'll come in saying kind of sheepishly like, I don't know what I'm going to contribute here, and then there'll be some of our best episodes, because they'll just
Absolutely.
completely surprise themselves and us obviously with the amount of information they have, and they'll get so specifically in detail. Like the visual segment, the best segment on the show by far, is
Okay.
always the area where we see people like kind of. It is frequently one of the, and obviously every
It's true.
segment has this kind of reaction. Like people will just find associations that they have with taste, smells, the entire premise of the show. But
Yeah.
they'll really open up, and they'll find chapters of their mind that they forgot
That's
existed.
one thread that I've been able to find through a lot of the episodes is that, you kind of, it seems like when the guests get on there, they really start to open up and they get brought back. And, at the beginning of it, they might be more like, yeah, everybody wants to get out of their hometown, out of their home state, no matter where you're from. If you're from Chicago, you want to get out of Chicago.
Yeah,
And-
But Ryan, how do they feel at the end of the show?
and at the end of the show, they're like having, I don't know if it's an appreciation or if they're kind of like, my state's actually not so bad. Or like
Exactly.
they've started
Yeah.
finding those little
We've
those
all
little
been,
nuggets.
I think, blown away by. I mean, everyone has those sense memories where you see something or you smell something and you're like, of course, that moment when I was 4 years old and my mom made that. And it's just like brings you back. It's these things that you didn't associate with your state. Maybe you just associated with your life.
Right.
And then once you see them in the context of, oh, this is only from Iowa, suddenly you're able to say like, oh, that has actually defined me and where I'm from. It's an interesting journey of self-discovery almost, like a walkabout through, I don't know, your home state, something like that.
Yeah, no, I think for me, it's like it kind of reminds me of how I feel about my own like home states, because I'm from New Jersey and from Missouri, where I spent the first 9 years of my life in New Jersey and then the next 9 years in Missouri. And living in Missouri, I hated it. It's like a podunk place. It's for hillbillies and all this kind of like redneck stuff. And then I moved to Chicago, and living in the big city for like 6-7 years now, I look back and I say, oh, there's a ton of stuff in Missouri that is actually really, really beautiful, and stuff that inspires me even to this day that I didn't even know was so ingrained in me in the first place. And so realizing that in other people, I think, is so cool. Like one of the coolest parts of the show.
Yeah. And it's the exact opposite of what I thought. My initial reaction of the show was somebody told me, you got to check out these Statesmen. And I thought, they're like, yeah, they talk about the states and blah, 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 blah. And I'm a huge history buff. Like,
Yeah.
History Channel when I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, God, this is
Yeah,
going
I
to
was
be...
sort of a Pawn Stars fan myself,
thought-
so
yeah,
we
no,
could go
see,
toe to toe.
I was the History Channel era before that.
Sure. Before Ice Road Truckers changed everything. Yeah.
I feel like we're more of an ice road truckers kind
Yeah.
of
If we had to
show.
define ourselves, I think like you don't. But when you went in, is what you're saying is like it felt blue and probably really silly and dumb. And were you surprised?
No,
or?
I mean, before I even listened to the show, when I first heard what the show was about, I didn't even know who you guys were. I just heard you guys were talking about states. I thought, this is going to be two or one white guy with a microphone who's probably in his 60s talking about, hey, boy, you know, if you come down to Missouri, there's like this back road where you can find, and like some like deep, I don't even know what, but I thought it was going to be, and then I played it and I was like, oh, this is perfect.
And that's right, Ryan.
Wow.
Instead of one white guy with a microphone having funny voices, it's three with microphones, funny voices. I mean,
And we're collectively 60-something.
Yeah.
Hey, Chun Li here, by the way.
I think
Wow.
he's in jail.
yeah, he's in jail. He had a
Chun-Li's in
lot of
jail?
guns in his house, if I'm not mistaken. Allegedly.
God.
I don't know if I should be talking on that
But
at
I
all.
think it's interesting that you guys, I would say primarily I don't know what your audience is, man. I don't know the analytics, but your guests are an average age of mid-20s maybe, right?
Yeah.
Around your age. And it's interesting that you guys can pull them on and talk about geographical things and stuff like that. But it's interesting, you captivate your audiences. And I think that says something about maybe your humor, your layout of your show, and how it's set up because, I don't know about you, but I remember people in grade school that hated geography, and they hated learning about their state, and they hated learning about history.
Honestly, it's just like learning can suck, and it's so easy for learning to suck, but it's also like it doesn't take that much effort to make it even kind of interesting. Like everybody had a teacher in high school who they're like, that person kind of changed my life because they showed me that like writing can be fun. And you're like, well, maybe we should have more teachers like that, but then we're going to get into a whole subject that maybe we shouldn't be talking about with school funding and whatnot. But I think, like, genuinely we've found a way to create a podcast that is educational in a weird way, but it doesn't feel that way.
Stu bringing his signature substitute teacher energy.
Yeah.
So wait, you were a sub?
No, but I definitely think that I, like Jack Black, could go into a school and no one would ask if I wasn't a sub, Like, they would just assume that I'm in charge of the kids.
Now, see, I thought I took a semester off one year, which I won't dive into the story, but
Did you sub?
I subbed at my old grade school. They were a private,
Wow.
Wow.
private school, so I had enough college credits. And talk
was
about
it?
interesting. It was fun. It was like one of the best jobs I've ever worked. Because some of the stories that I have.
Oh, I can imagine.
Things that kids say.
How old?
Things that I said on accident when I probably shouldn't have, like.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but they don't take any of that in, right? They just say the darndest things. They're all a little stupid, dumb, and useless, and they, But I think, I'm kidding. I love kids, and I
Well,
can't
you
wait
guys
to
are
be
like
a father.
teachers.
You know what?
Wow.
I think we're more than teachers. I think we're laureates.
And coming from Stu, I think it really just undercuts all of that.
Yeah, well,
I'm not really, I don't see myself like a teacher. I see myself as a vice principal who's power hungry.
Tim is in his office, working his best at the logistics. Meanwhile, Anthony plots from across the hall to take it over.
I'm drawing up new punishments that are technically legal.
And constantly parking in my spot.
Now on the show, our listeners know that you guys like to play games.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my
You're
God.
big.
Oh yeah, we like to play games.
Big into the games. And what I've thought is interesting is that you have never really you've competed against each other, but not in a different state. So I've set up a game.
Oh,
Ryan! It's real modest. It's
go.
nothing like. I love how they all settle in. If you're watching this on the video, everybody
we go.
kind of like resets. Everybody.
Ryan,
Just-
you said it's modest, but like literally anything you did is probably about as much work as we sometimes have to put into these games.
up,
so
yeah.
I'm sure
that's-
you'll knock it out of the park.
That's amazing then, because then you really do a great job of pulling stuff out of your asses
Which we
in a great way.
There's only good ways.
Now the title of this is called "Defend Your State."
Ooh,
okay. Yeah.
Sort of a fighting game.
Sort of a fighting game. You're going to be judged on the ability to use all five senses to argue your state is the best. Now, by your state, I mean your home state. Now,
Okay.
Right.
I know you're from New York, Anthony.
Yes, upstate.
And you're from, you said New Jersey, but then also Missouri. So, it's your call. Maybe you want to pick Missouri to be different than, New Jersey is awfully close.
Or maybe you fight the underdog fight, right?
Yes.
And go with New Jersey.
I will. I do love an underdog fight. And
Yeah.
give me that. I will defend Missouri.
He will
Okay.
defend Missouri. All right. The second thing you're going to be judged on is your defensive and offensive arguments. So Stuart,
Okay.
Stuart comes at Tim and
Here
he's able
we
to defend
go.
himself. Now here is the layout. You will have everybody will have an opening statement about 30 to 60 seconds. Then you're going to have a rebuttal, and then you're going to have an attack, where you can attack any other state you'd like to.
Okay, and during that, we can also use a repose, where we will we'll come back and sort of set small traps for our enemies. I'm excited. This game sounds great.
This
and
game sounds awesome.
I
Now-
can't wait to show myself a fool to everyone listening.
I think we should start with Colorado. We'll go in alphabetical order.
Okay.
That-
And now, I should, as the curator and the host of Podcast Broadcast, which you can listen to every Sunday from 10 to noon and from 6 to 8 p.m. right here on WCRX FM, I will be the judge.
It's only right.
It's only right.
And I'll give reasons why I think.
Okay,
it's
yeah,
not
I
just
mean,
gonna
I
be-
would want to hear why. If
Yeah.
you just said who won, I would feel like maybe you're just picking Ringo over the rest of us. But I should probably just start. Let me just get into it, right? I'm Stuart. I'm from Colorado. Not born there, but I spent, I guess, 18 of the most developmentally important years of my life there. And I can say that it is easily the best state amongst the three. And here's why. Are you looking for a city? We have Denver, a sprawling metropolis that everyone wants to move to, and which real estate prices, they're zooming right up to the stars. Speaking of stars, how about the night sky in Colorado, right? The lights turn out, you see the Big Dipper from the first time, and maybe you're on top of a 14er. That's right, some of the biggest mountain ranges in America, and some of the tallest ones as well. They're gorgeous and in the background of everything you see in the state. Even if you have a bad experience, I'd wager it's a good one because everything around you is beautiful purple mountain majesty. That is Colorado.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I came with some heat.
That was a heater, Stu. That's pretty tough.
You had that
It's like
written
you
down.
knew
Yeah,
was
I read
gonna-
that off my hand.
It's like you knew I was going to ask that, and you were just up all night.
I keep that ready. There are a lot of people trying to disparage Colorado in this city, and I'm ready to sit them down for 30 to 60 seconds and ruin their day.
Wow. Well, that was impressive. Well, continuing in alphabetical order, we've got Missouri.
I honestly can't believe I have to go after this. This is going to really suck.
A good start.
Missouri is probably one of the best states of the three, and maybe not in terms of its geography or even its people. I would say that Missouri has some of the biggest heart that any of the three states have. Coincidentally, Missouri is in the center of the United States. It is the beating heart, probably, of the entire Western Hemisphere, specifically in Northern America. And look, you're not gonna get mountains. You're not gonna get cool liberal politics. But what you are gonna get is a visceral experience of what nature was like 10,000, 15,000, 20, 25,000 years ago. You know, you go out into a swamp. You go out next to the Mississippi River. You smell the mud. You gaze out at the mud, and you feel mosquitoes landing and biting your neck and your chest. And
Tim, you've been listing cons. You have to say pros too.
these are all the pros that Missouri has to offer. I'm not trying to tout Missouri as this, glamorous type of thing. It's a visceral experience. It's like climbing Mount Everest. It's beautiful in that sense that it is not. The journey up Mount Everest is not pretty. It is hard and rough, and that's what Missouri is.
Interesting tactic.
Interesting, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think
Thank
that
you.
is the only tactic from the Missouri aspect.
Well,
now
yeah.
to let off a little, I'm not biased, but I am from Missouri.
Ooh. What's
Okay.
up? What's up? Deep South.
All right, you give me an excuse. All right, I'm coming to the plate representing the great state of New York. Are you a city slicker? Oh, we could keep you entertained. You like shopping? You like the entertainment industry? How about it? We've got it all. You like Subways? You like sub sandwiches? We sometimes call them grinders or hoagies. But you can also get a variety of other experiences. We've got nightlife. You like swinging nightclubs where you can snap your finger and smoke a cigarette? You like traffic? We don't either, but we all deal with it. Hey, forget about it. Are you not a city slicker? Are you a country mouse? Well, scurry up to upstate New York. We've got trees, dirt, lakes, pizza, campfires, shopping malls with several lids locations stuffed inside.
I feel like you're not from New York.
Need a New York Yankees hat? We've got plenty. You like watching sports? How about the Knicks? A cherished organization that has been falling apart for my entire lifetime.
But you have another sports franchise that isn't doing that, right?
You like being eternally disappointed? Look no further than the New York Giants. Giants not your thing? How about the New York Jets? Hey, if sports aren't your thing at all, we also have the Metropolitan Museum and the opera. You want a night at the opera? Too bad you're in upstate New York, remember? We've got
How long is this? How long?
art, culture. I'm going until I'm cut off.
Yeah, you gotta cut him off. You cut him off. He'll just keep listing
I like New
things.
York.
Oh boy! All right.
All right. I have a final statement.
Oh man.
Because we will have rebuttals too.
Thank you.
Right.
This should be the final kernel in my preface here. The shirts all say "I love New York." Why don't you see what everybody's talking about, baby?
My
See, I had to include that. I had to include
No.
No, you didn't.
that. I had to.
Okay.
So you
Now,
had to
should I?
include-
I wonder. Should I give my opening?
Your first impression,
remarks?
Rose?
Yes. I have to. Boy, it seems like it was 3 days ago when I heard Colorado.
It really did feel like it. And this windowless room is no help at all either.
What time is it?
New York is a great place.
Oh,
the
God.
Out of
shining.
here.
So Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I would be remiss if I didn't say the fact that it sounded well rehearsed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even me, not even as a judge, I would give my point to Colorado.
I had
So
straight
far,
up
yes.
2 segues in that thing.
It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it
Thank
was
you.
impressive. Yeah, I thought it was very poetic.
But maybe it was missing some of the emotion of the Missouri presentation.
Maybe, but we have rebuttals though, so.
Oh,
Or
that's a
some
good
of the
point.
words in New York.
That's true.
Yeah, strung together by silly string.
I thought it was off the top of my head. I thought it was impressive that you didn't bring up marijuana, and I will point you for that because
Thank you.
that would be something that somebody would.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, and we talk about this. We've done a Colorado episode with another native, True. What's his
True Walters.
True Walters is his last name. I just know him as True because that's what he is. And we talked about the fact that like Colorado has been so defined by its early legalization of marijuana, and I can't wait until 10 years go by and like it's legal everywhere, and it's not like the only thing people think about the state for. It's so stupid, and it's so hacky to like talk to a cousin or something, and they're like, "You're smoking that weed, dude." It's like, leave me alone. I didn't message you. So I don't think that's necessarily a selling point for Colorado as much as it is a selling point for hopefully the future of America.
And I think that goes to show that you're a true Colorado native. That you can look beyond the small green plant. Now, what I will say is that you did say a lot of nature. You mentioned Denver, but I would have maybe liked to hear some of the city life.
Well, may I have my rebuttal?
Whoa, I'll give you your rebuttal. Missouri.
Yeah, here we go.
My home state.
Yep.
I'm from Jefferson City, Missouri. Where
Nice.
are you from?
St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Well, St. Louis is a big term. I
Yeah.
live like 40 minutes outside of the city. I went to high school in a place called Eureka.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you can be 40 minutes outside of a city and
Yeah, I know.
say, like,
It's crazy.
That's a huge area.
But if I said Eureka, I'm from Eureka, Missouri. It's like, okay.
I thought it was interesting that you went with the approach of
Negging?
Yeah. I bet, breaking it down to build it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
took
didn't see the build-up part.
The visceral part. That's the experience.
you took
guys.
an iron rod to the knee of Missouri. Yeah, I think that you could have maybe brought up the St. Louis sport. Are you a Cardinals fan? Are you a...
No, the thing about the Cardinals is I actually don't like the Cardinals because Albert Pujols, when he was on the team, in St. Louis County, we had one classical music station, 99.1, and what Albert Pujols did was donate a bunch of money to Joy FM, who currently runs that station, and completely took classical music out of the St. Louis area for like 6 years.
Wow.
And so I'm, bad news, Cardinals. I don't like you anymore.
That's probably the
Sorry, man.
meanest thing someone's ever
I'm not a
said.
Cardinal. I'm a Cub fan. My parents are
There
from
you go.
Chicago.
Okay, cool.
So I grew up, getting my butt kicked on all the baseball teams.
Yeah.
That harsh
It's
rivalry.
rough.
But I will say though, you mentioned the nature of the 25,000 years ago.
Sure.
Colorado might have that too.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll see
Now-
in my rebuttal.
I don't want to. I'm not even going to say what I would have maybe said because I don't want to give you any rebuttal.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure you're from Missouri.
Like what? So the rebuttal is I get to come back and
Yeah, and maybe-
add onto my thing.
And add
Got
onto
you.
your
And there's an attack phase.
And then
as
there's an
well.
attack phase where you can.
I think I'm most prepared
I
for
feel
that
like I'm
one.
playing
I'm
Gwent.
most prepared for the attack phase.
Anthony, New York.
What could you possibly say about my perfect performance? Too well rehearsed?
You were very. I liked the range of city and upstate New York. What I will say is sometimes were you talking about the state or were you talking about the city? You said you brought up a lot of those, subways and both transportation and delicious sandwiches, and you brought up nightclubs, and those would be things I would tie into New York City.
I think the subway is definitely city specific. I'm not
The
riding,
restaurant or the transportation?
not taking the L train around Saratoga Springs.
Yeah, Anthony is from upstate New York.
Yeah.
It's important to know.
That is actually super important to know because,
Yeah.
like, when you say, "Oh, the happening nightlife," and you snapped along to that really great rhythm, I wanted to ask, like, what nightclubs are you talking about? Like Utica nightclubs? Where? What are you talking about?
Hey, I'll save that for the rebuttal.
That's a good point.
Where are you from in New York?
Saratoga Springs, New York.
Oh, Saratoga
About
Springs.
45 minutes north of Albany for all you real heads out there.
I drove through upstate New York in August of 2016 going to Canada, and everything looked like had been fall for 8 months.
A real kiss at the tip of the fingers to that one. Just gorgeous weather.
It was
Jeez.
beautiful up there. But I would say that I felt like it was more of a New York City than maybe the state.
Okay, something to take as a note for the rebuttal. I'll get deeper into the upstate New York. I will say the shopping malls
That was true.
aspect was very specifically about upstate New York because, I spent a lot of my time there. I was a real mall rat in those multiple lids locations. Bought a lot of lids.
You still go out to the mall and just like hang out and drink
You have those
slushies
like
and stuff.
80-year-old friends that mall walk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I actually, this is no bit, I legitimately did go through a phase in my life where I was like, yeah, mall walking will be my exercise. I do it all the time anyway.
God. Are you serious?
No
That
way.
can't be real, Anthony. There's no way you decidedly make that decision.
Anthony woke up one day and was like, I'm not feeling my best.
No,
I'm gonna put on my shape
I
up.
was-
I'll start at Hot
I was
Topic.
on the way to Wilton Mall in Wilton, New York, and I was like, I don't even need to buy any lids today. I might as well just get my steps in.
Oh.
Good Lord. Good Lord. How old were you?
Last
Probably
year.
like 10.
Can you imagine a
No,
little
no.
boy?
That's
just,
too
like,
young to be
power
walking around the mall.
in
I think
New York?
I must have been like 13.
Well, that's
a real
a-
dingus.
That's a really sad image, but maybe it's something to bring up in the rebuttal.
Okay, well, I didn't think of it as sad. That was actually a really proud memory of me. The most active I've been in my entire life.
Well, we'll start. We'll snake through back the other way. So
Okay.
We'll start
baby.
with.
Good luck, Anthony.
We'll start with the.
With the
New
little
York. And
mall
if you,
walker.
if you need to take a drink to,
No, I'm ready.
he's good to go. All right, rebuttal time, Anthony.
Hello?
No.
Who's that calling? It's upstate New York. The crown jewel of the Empire State.
Anthony, oh my God.
The sweeping forests of the Adirondack. Buck Mountain. Syracuse. The Orange. Carmelo Anthony. The Buffalo Bills. Jumping off of roofs through a table. Above ground swimming pools. In ground swimming pools. Water parks. Hiking. Camping. Loons. Fires.
Did you say loons?
Yep. You know,
15 seconds.
do you like sitting behind a car that has a Calvin pissing bumper sticker?
What's he pissing on?
The Boston Red Sox logo. That's upstate New York, baby. We've got a place to order chicken parm on any block.
All right.
Wow.
Wow.
An impressive rebuttal.
Was it? Was that really? I guess we haven't heard any others.
He certainly
Setting the bar.
He certainly
We don't have- we
brought
have-
up those loons.
We just have this bar. We don't know if this is high or low
Yeah,
yet.
could
but
be
we're
anywhere.
about to find out because we've got the Missouri rebuttal.
Horses.
Okay. I want all you listeners out there to pretend to open up an old, crusty book. It's leather bound, it's brown, and it's got yellowing pages. You open up, you hear the crisping of the pages, and we're going to flip to page 121, chapter Missouri. Missouri captivates something that I don't think any other state in the Union captures. Well, first of all, I'm going to repeat myself in that it is the heart of Missouri. And it pumps blood all throughout the United States. Not to mention, it is the home of great authors and actors, writers, film directors, and musicians, including Brad Pitt and Samuel Clemens, to name a few.
Just a few.
The Mississippi River is the water highway of the United States. And without the Mississippi River, without Missouri, which is the gateway to the Midwest, there would be no West. There would be no America without Missouri.
Impressive. Okay. That's impressive. Now, that's impressive because I'm not trying to attack or take sides here, but he did cut off Colorado there because he did say without the Missouri,
There would be no West.
And in a way that it wasn't my attack either. I just wanna say.
that was impressive.
Huh.
Yes, he was subtle.
The
Yeah.
East would be perfectly fine.
Okay.
Well, let me describe Colorado untouched by the damaging hands of the East. Tim, you and your manifest destiny speak has come upon 1806. Zebulon Pike stares down from the top of Pike's Peak. Colorado lay before him. Over 14,000 feet in the air. It's thin. He has trouble breathing. And in his madness, he sees an angel who tells him that this land will be the greatest and hold some of the greatest treasures, gold, that America has ever seen. Now, fast forward, the year 2019, and I'm just graduating from UC Boulder. All my friends are here. Oh, it's Jessica and Mom. They're all here and they're so excited to see me. And it's so great that we're in Boulder. the cultural capital of liberal America, baby. Do you have any progressive ideas whatsoever? Are you a Bernie bro? Are you a Hillary gal? Are you a Cory Booker? You're not a Cory Booker person, so whatever you believe, those beliefs started in a dorm room in Boulder, baby. There is a beautiful wealth of interesting knowledge, and although it is becoming incredibly expensive to live there and very white, I'll say it, there is still a wealth of culture and history and beauty and geography. Nature! Mr. Rossi, nature! That is what Colorado has. That is Colorado in a nutshell. I meandered a little bit, sort of started with Manifest Destiny in the past, jumped to now.
I watched you Google Zebulon Pike.
I had to Google the year he was on top of the cliff, because if I had jumped back in time too far, we would have gotten calls to the studio, I assume.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Was that good,
Our phone
Ryan?
lines would not have been. Yeah, they've been
They would have gone down.
blowing up.
Are we good at this?
I feel like in terms of all three of us, I think you're still.
That's
you're
true.
Still exceeding.
I have a lot of runway because of that intro. I think I have a lot of failure built in. Anthony's on the razor's edge right
But it
now.
could all tank right here with the attack segment. Now,
true.
I think of the attack segment as just maybe I'll throw a big piece of meat into the cage and just let you lions go at it. And we'll just see what happens here.
All right. So we all go at once. Oh man.
I think we are free to attack each other.
I think it's ridiculous that you just Googled Zebulon Pike in anticipation for that rebuttal because I think you're absolutely cheating. And if you notice that cheating also starts with a C, which on the Colorado flag, a C is also represented. And I think that is supposed to represent cheaters.
I don't want to listen to a word out of this Southern boy's mouth. He will not accept that he is from below the Mason-Dixon line and therefore a part of the South. History is history. And by the way, New York City.
Oh man, I thought I was gonna go through this unscathed and just let you attack each other.
No. You think you're so great just because you're from a place that has the greatest city in the world and then also some beautiful nature?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Tim, you're from the South.
Okay, that's fair. You can sit up on your mountain and, spit on us Missouri folk down in the valley.
And I will. Toot.
And that's fine, you classist piece of garbage.
Good one.
Go get high and go, fall off a cliff and worship Zebulon Pike, whoever his name is.
I feel like we should take a second truce between Missouri and Colorado to both look to the east.
No.
What?
New York, I'm with you.
What?
Oh baby.
Oh no! It's a tag team that no one saw coming! Colorado's out of it!
New York. A great place for horses,
Okay, we can't let him start doing this again.
recreation, and mall walking.
Look,
It's not just for olds.
I would argue that if there was a vacation someone was trying to take to any of these states, in general,
It would be New York.
no.
No, it would
I
be Missouri.
I guarantee that out of all the states, you would find a higher volume of people from out of state who go to New York.
By the way,
than
you
any
said
other-
like the opera and stuff. Like
Yeah.
every state capital has an opera, Tony.
Not the Met. The Met is world renowned.
He's got me there.
Colorado is nothing but
Oh, boy.
an imperialistic solution to an imperialistic problem.
Look, I'm like a Rubik's Cube right now. I got problems on all sides of me.
All you are is just gold farms and
Gold farms?
Gold farms. You're all about gold farms up in CO.
We were about gold once, but it was only because of the absolute greed that your people brought to our land.
Well, how about those green farms, you hippie?
You get out of here!
All right, I think
What? No.
Wow.
New York has the best state flag out of all of them. I'm just going to drop that real quick.
Hard to disagree, but Ryan, you should go.
we have up for grabs this.
Whoa, a water
Oh, no.
bottle.
I didn't know we were playing for that. I wanted so bad.
I would have done so much better.
I would have tried so hard. What does it say on there, Ryan?
I have no idea what Austin Talks is. I found this out of the other room here at the WCRX
Oh, so this is not yours
studios.
to give away.
I hope I'm not fired for giving this away.
We'll take it.
We had a box of about 50, so it's not like,
Sure.
you can all just
We'll
walk
take
out
it.
of here with
Is
you.
it is an Austin talk like a TED talk for people from upstate New York?
It's the off-brand TED Talk.
Austin talk. Austin asks.
I thought about, see what for you listening on audio, it has an AT standing for Austin Talk, and I thought about putting states.
Oh.
But then the Austin Talks would really just look.
I mean, honestly, I don't think we would have looked past the word state. We're very easy to please.
So this water bottle is up for grabs. I think I've made my decision.
Let's hear it.
Oh man.
It's a tough one because I am from Missouri. How do I pick Missouri without looking like a favorite?
Not to mention, I'm wearing a sequence dress right now, and I'm absolutely radiant in the light.
Hold on, we can talk about what we're wearing?
Nope.
Okay.
With that said, I think that there was much more to Missouri that could have been offered.
Oh, okay.
The sweet, smoky barbecue of Kansas City, the Ozarks,
Wow.
the beautiful upstate.
Yeah, Jason Bateman's incredible.
Oh, beautiful upstate. Are you talking about New York?
All right, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Sorry.
But I thank you for your rebuttal and your argument, Stuart. I think there is something to be said about looking up on your phone.
Yeah, I admit, while I was doing it, I immediately felt it was a mistake, but I had already opened the browser and I couldn't go back.
What I do like your enthusiasm, your drive to win.
Thank you.
Your staying true. Tim, you started to form an alliance there with New York, and I think that Stuart, you were ready to attack all sides. I think that says something.
I would also like to say that Colorado is wearing clashing patterns right now.
What?
do we
No,
got?
I'm not.
We got plaid and...
It's just clashing.
No,
It's just
I'm
completely
not.
clashing.
I'm dressed very well. And actually, if you had seen me, you would probably have said, like, you worked on that outfit.
Colorado doesn't know how to dress themselves.
I'm freaking PO'd.
And New York.
Oh yeah.
At times, maybe a little rambly.
At times.
I don't know what to say, honestly.
It's hard. It's hard, especially when the substance was like an atom, so filled with space.
I'm eager to hear. I'm eager to hear.
I thought you did well on the mall walking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That was not part of one of his segments.
No, I did think maybe you could have mentioned the beautiful upstate, the nature of.
What? I did mention the
You forgot
loons
Niagara
camping.
Niagara Falls.
You forgot Niagara Falls.
I didn't forget. I just don't think Niagara Falls will do it for the real heads out there.
Yeah, I liked that because I think that's a cliche of a monument to pick, or not a monument, but like a national park.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Tim-
I missed the Statue of Liberty.
So I have made my decision. So tough.
Thank you, Ryan.
So
Your hand
I have decided to go with the westward Colorado.
Hooray!
I'll say why.
Ooh.
Because
Please, why?
of the beautiful description, your ability to stay calm when the odds were stacked against you.
You should feel my pits. They are drenched.
You know, it's not the first time that Colorado has won in a competition, actually,
No, that's
on our
right.
show.
No spoilers, but listeners at home might remember our. Thank you for my stand-in Lombardi trophy. But listeners at home can listen to our special Valentine's Day episode, the Golden Rose Ceremony, where you'll hear all three of us debate this same topic, but in a romantic sense. We want to try and find which of our states is the
Most romantically eligible state in the non-contiguous 50.
That's
Yeah.
right. I remember that. That was a good.
And
episode.
believe it or not, I guess I'm just a damn champ all around, guys.
One thing you have to remember is that you may be rewarding Colorado with the water bottle, but we do live together, so I'm gonna get the most use out of that.
That's very true. This is going to our kitchen.
Well, we'll stack everybody with water bottles before you get it. You can have everybody gets about 3. Now, one final question: what's after the 50 states? Are we moving to? Have we thought about that or?
We've thought about it, and I have a witty answer for you, Ryan. After the 50 states, we will be doing the District of Columbia. You're
That's
welcome.
clever.
Okay, yeah, but then in a more macro sense, do you have anything, Tim?
I don't know. We've honestly talked about it, and we haven't yet decided whether we're going to go smaller and like really dig into a state deeper, like go into capitals, or just doing it over again and doing Minnesota too and
With
New York
new
too.
guests
With
and new
yeah.
takes or old friends maybe returning.
Yeah, and we also haven't ruled out the possibility of just killing each other and leaving it at that.
That's actually a great point. Yeah.
Or just stopping for the good of humanity. But no, it's something that we do kick around every once in a while. But the thing is, there's still a lot of work to do to get through the 50, and we've been amazed that it's went on this long, and we're just hoping to keep the train rolling all the way through.
Awesome. That's a good attitude.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for coming down here today. The Statesmen, you can listen to their podcast anywhere you find your podcasts. And where can we find you on social media?
You can find us at Statesman Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, at Statesman Pod on Twitter, and you can also email us, statesmanpodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to message us on those social media platforms and listen to the show.
And we have a live show coming out, right, too?
Absolutely.
yeah.
April 14th at 7:30 at the Annoyance Theater. We will be live with the hugest state and a very huge guest as well. It's going to be so fun. We're still cementing exactly how we're going to attack it, but it is going to be an absolute blast.
You said the hugest guest, and I just want to make sure for people listening, we mean hugest in terms of their power in the comedy community, not in terms of their size.
Yeah, we already have the hugest host in Chicago.
You got to walk around the malls.
Oh,
Man.
I'm sorry, but I think
I
that's
meant in
such a
terms
fun...
of tall.
Man.
You're a bully.
All right, I guess I should leave. I'm leaving the Statesman. I'm canceled.
Your water bottle is revoked. Statesman, thank you guys so much for coming down
Thank
here.
you so much, Ryan, for having us. It really humbles us.
Yeah, and
seriously.
this is an absolute professional setup you've got, and you're a great host, and we hope other artists around Chicago come on out and support a great growing little weird punk rock community of podcast people like telling each other to listen to more podcasts.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
And
like it.
New York, just the home of...
Ryan, you have to
man,
cut
you
off
gotta
this
cut
mic.
it
Turn it off.
Pull us to the outro.
All right, the Annoyance Theater on April 14th, 7 p.m. I will see you guys there.
7:30 p.m.
7:30. What
Get
did
there
I
at
say?
7 if you want to do a meet and greet.
I said 7:30. 7:30. I'm reading it right here, so I don't know why I said 7. So.
And hit us up for a promo code.
Yeah, hit us up for a
Oh.
promo code. Listen to the end of our most recent episode of Iowa, and you will receive the promo code.
Perfect. Statesman, thank you guys.
Thank
you.
Thank you so much, Ryan.